Hello. Oh, that's my Spotify playlist. That was not supposed to come up. All right. Well, this is it. Oh, this this is it, guys. This is your last lecture. Yeah. All right. This is political communication. It is chapter 20. Got that right here in this book. We've learned to grow and love. And here's what's happening. I wanted to kind of point out some things. If you're going to do the extra credit paper, I wanted to give you a little bit out of the chapter that I think would be good to talk about and write about. So, short video here, not a long PowerPoint, but a couple of things just to mention for learning's sake, right? Why not? Okay, so everything always starts with definitions. What is politics? What is political communication? And how do we view it? All right, first side note, okay? Got to cut through the shit here. This chapter was written by a rhetorician and social justice focused professor, Dr. Winslow. So, this whole chapter is set in that mindset. So I take some disagreement with this definition of political communication, but it does look at, you notice how he talks about goods and resources being dispensed and withheld. That's very much a rhetorician's position and someone involved heavily in social justice. Political communication, I think, is more than that. I don't think it's just about goods and resources. I do think it's about values and ideology and outcomes and decisions and so much more. And crisis communication and conflict. So it's not that this is inherently a bad thing. It's just one of the reasons I think we spend so much time drilling in these different paradigms or these different academic preferences is because they so greatly shape how everything is approached. Someone in the interpretive paradigm and an ethnographer just looks at everything in the world differently than a quantitative, so scientific method person than does a critical or rhetoric person. So that really shapes who you take classes from and what kind of worldview you're going to get. And I know you guys know, I mean, a lot of you had PGM for ethnography, and she is everything to her is about that creation of connection and story, everything. And that bleeds over into how she approaches everything. I'm the same way. I am, as you know, quantitative social science. So I'm much more cut to the chase. I'm about data, numbers, conclusions, and research. And that shapes how I do everything. So I think that's a really important framework for this chapter. And I think it's leaving out a lot of other aspects of political communication. And if the professor were a different professor, we might see some different information. So that's my soapbox. Let's move on. Even these assumptions that are given are very rhetoric and critical laden. So these assumptions, I think, could make some great papers. So if you are writing the critical or the political comm extra credit paper, you might want to just argue one of these assumptions. That do you believe U.S. voters display irrational, apathetic, and ignorant political attitudes? Do you think we rely on heuristic shortcuts? When we mention heuristic shortcuts, that is essentially what we're saying is the peripheral route in making decisions. So you remember the elaboration likelihood model, that peripheral route where we just kind of, oh, she's cute. Ooh, I don't like Bernie. He yells too loud. I can't vote for him. Those are what we mean by heuristic shortcuts. We just use kind of this peripheral route to process information and don't really look through that central route of facts or whatever. And a lot of people didn't like Bernie and Elizabeth for their kind of shrill communication style, which I thought was, again, not necessarily a good reason. And symbols, labels, and messages are contingent, struggled over, and up for grabs. Um, Absolutely. It's language. And so what we say, how we say it, who's going to brand what first, who's going to take the upper hand in an argument by saying something powerful. Personally, for me, I enjoyed watching debates because that's what I was looking for. One of the very first Democratic debates where well, what's her face, challenged Joe Biden over busing. That was a wonderful moment of a struggle over who is going to take, quote unquote, the right stance on that message. So I think these assumptions would be fun to maybe challenge or agree with, and tell me why you think that. That could be a good topic for your political comm paper. Then we go into the media and kind of campaign tactics. I wanted to touch on this because I kind of thought the euphemism box on in the book was kind of interesting. And the euphemisms, we often use this word, and a lot of people don't know what it means. So a euphemism is a more polite form word, or more politically correct word. And you saw some of these. I had not heard transfer tubes versus body bags. Somehow, I don't know. I think body bags is better than transfer tubes, but I'm not really sure on that. Special encore presentation instead of the word rerun. Illegal alien versus illegal immigrant versus an undocumented worker. Refugee is we like better than an evacuee. And so, again, they even did janitor versus cleaning specialist. So euphemisms are politically correct language, and we hear a lot of that language in politics now. What is acceptable to talk about and what is not. And certainly that has changed with the election of Donald Trump. So you can address some of these issues here, which are euphemisms. Agenda setting is fascinating these days. When I taught persuasion, I talked a lot about agenda setting. And it was usually news to students that our media had certain agendas and ran certain stories to promote certain candidates, getting kickback or money. In this day and age, I think you kind of all know that the media has an agenda and is biased. All of it. It's fascinating. If you're a Fox News watcher, watch Fox News, then go turn on MSNBC and watch that. If you are an MSNBC fan, turn on Fox News, or better yet, America. Wait, what's Trump's news? America AOLN? America something network. Okay, what I'm going to say here, I should have looked that up, but I'm losing it. I am so ready to be done, and I hope you are too. But his network is hysterical. And John Oliver did an episode on Trump's news network, and I mean, watch it. I should put it in the video here today, but if you have not seen it, again, it lets you know other certain agendas. Our local news has agendas, I'm sorry to say. There's always sponsors, there's always money involved, and there's always timing to stories. So because a rhetorician wrote about this, you get narratives and public narratives and dramatism, very much a rhetoric domain. But I think this is quite right. Most political campaigns now have to draw a public narrative. It's fascinating because in the past it was a family man, it was a Christian typically, and now I'm not even sure what the public narrative is for office anymore, because we've kind of thrown it out the window. What is it that we want? It used to be very much this wholesome, good family man. Now there are political campaign ads with people saying, because I support guns, and they're holding guns in their ads. They're building a narrative about who they are and what they support. That's critical in media. I mean, you guys know this. It's not like I need to tell you. You want to become an influencer, you know you've got to have a good narrative. You got to have a good story. You got to keep putting up good narratives to maintain the interest. That's just how it works now. And if there's anything that's going to ruin your narrative, you try to keep that out of the narrative. So, what happens when it does get in the narrative? Well, we come to crisis communication. And this is one of my favorite persuasion subjects to teach. It is not in the book, but I think this could be very fun for you to write about. And I'm kind of surprised it's not in the chapter. They talk about crisis communication in politics by saying admit to it, get over it, do it, whatever. Say you're sorry, move on. Let me see. I have the little confess, be sorry, promise not to do it again, and accept responsibility. All right, that's probably what you should do. That not what happened, folks. Apologia is what happens. First thing you see most all political figures do is deny, deny, deny. It's the same with sports figures. And if I can deny it, I buy myself time. And with all the agenda setting going on the news, I may only need to buy myself a day, because I guarantee you nobody remembers what was in the news before coronavirus. I don't. News changes just like that. A major event happens, the heat's off of you, and the media moves on to something else. And how many stories aren't getting covered? Because that's just how it works. One of the very difficult choices in going into PR is simply that you are trying to get free media coverage. And if it's a day something huge breaks in the news, kiss that goodbye, because you are not going to get your feel-good free media coverage story in the news. It's not going to happen that day. I was very lucky when I put on an event at the University of Nevada in Reno when I was doing public relations, that it was a good news day, aka a slow news day, because I was putting on a girls' sports day, partnered with Girl Scouts and all this stuff, and we got huge media attention. And honestly, nothing was really happening that day. So that's what it all depends on. Stories get kicked in and out of the news depending on what else is happening. And anytime you can deny, it gives your PR team time to think. It gives press time, and it gives you time for the press to change and go look at something else. So denial is a strong strategy. I'm not talking ethics here right now, folks, but it is something we tend to do. I mean, even when we were little kids with the chocolate all over our face and mom said, "Did you eat the cookies?" You're like, "No, it wasn't me." So there's something about denying that buys us time, that gives the ability to suspend judgment. During that, the next thing you should be trying to do is bolster yourself. And what that means is associate yourself with good things. I'm a godly person. I'm a good person. I have given hundreds to charity. I'm going to use Tiger Woods because he is a great example. You could go pick anybody and write about apologia on them. That had like a scandal, whether it was Tiger Woods, whether it was what was the late night show host? He did not follow this formula, so just never mind. Bill Clinton did. He followed this formula. It worked really well for him. But Tiger. So he first denied any and all allegations. Denied. Lance Armstrong. Denied. Associated themselves with good things. Look at all the good I've done. Look at all the fundraising. Look at the yellow Lance Armstrong movement I've created. Then you have to differentiate. Differentiate says we don't know the truth, and so we can't judge me yet. This is just at this point, this is Trump's favorite thing to do, is differentiate. We don't know that. That's fake news. You can't believe that. He is so good at that. And it confuses people and says, okay, well, I guess I don't know So I can't judge yet. And if I can't judge, then I guess I'm not going to really make a decision either way. And by then you're on to what we call transcending, getting people to move on, saying this is important. We have much bigger things we should be focusing on in life. And right now, our main concern is caring for America and its people. You know, I'm making this stuff up because I love apologia. It works, believe it or not. I'm not saying it's completely ethical, and it doesn't always work. I mean, I don't know that Lance Armstrong will be able to transcend his crisis. Tiger Woods has. I don't mention somebody else because y'all will like go, but somebody else did a very good job overcoming their crisis. And many, many others in politics and sports and the public eye. Yeah, LeBron James, he put a public narrative out there. I don't even know that he did anything wrong. He just left a team. But anyway, I digress here. Don't even get me started on Roger Clemens either. But all right, again, digressing. Keep focused, Kathleen. So this is really a PR strategy in crisis. It is not the confess, say you're sorry, don't do it again, and accept responsibility. I honestly do believe that is what you should do. But what I learned in my time working in PR is that PR people get fired for that. If you are a PR front spokesman for somebody, you think Kelly Conway confesses, is contrite, and accepts responsibilities? Hell no. She denies, bolsters, differentiates, and transcends Trump every single time she opens her mouth. So there's the ethical, and then there's the media side. And this is what the media does to build the personal narrative they want. Okay, communicating with the media. This was something that my majors in comm didn't do well, and I don't think we do well either. And I thought the chart was actually very good on this page with the little do's and don'ts chart. And if you go into a media related career where you have to communicate with news stations or papers or write press releases, these are kind of some do's and don'ts. And I think they're very good. Respect deadlines, return phone calls. The media is not going to pay attention to you if you were, he says right up here, do not be a wimp. It's true. You have to be very direct. And I think it's sad that we don't even teach y'all how to write a press release properly, because the media will not look at a press release that's not written properly. If you do not have that information right in the header where it's supposed to be, it's in the trash. And they're not going to come pick up your story. PR, that's what PR is all about, getting free media and marketing attention in society. So I thought the do's and don'ts were interesting. Definitely check them out. And some of the how to converse with the media as well. Don't wear sunglasses, smoke, or chew gum. Yeah, seriously, come on. Know you're always mic'd, or there's always someone with mic close by. So those are, the media is a difficult path if that's something you pursue. That's really all I had for political communication, friends. I wanted to keep it short, but I do think you could write about some of these assumptions. I am open to you writing about news agencies and agenda setting, euphemisms and public narratives, and if you can apply something in crisis communication, even to a corporation. When you look at some of the disasters that have happened in corporations, you see the same type of thing: denying, bolstering, differentiating, transcending. I'm thinking of the mass oil explosion we had in the middle of the ocean. The president of BP went through that exactly. So you can feel free to pick a particular crisis and apply apologia to it. And while apologia is not in the text, I guarantee if you do a quick Google, you'll get enough information to write a good paper. All right, that's it. That's it, guys. I hope that helps you with the extra credit paper, and we'll We'll chat more. One more time. One more time. I'm going to talk with you, but it won't be a lecture. All right. Be safe, be healthy, and have fun.